Topping today's news, we get some details on the Bahamas delegation's visit to Botswana. The Unregulated Task Force on Shantytowns continues on Eleuthera, and a new boutique hotel coming to West Bay Street. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News. It's a pleasure to have you join us. A diamond depository on Grand Bahama, boosting the digital economy and scholarships for Bahamians. These are just some of the things Prime Minister Philip Davis and his delegation are negotiating as they continue their work in Botswana. Additionally, a memorandum of understanding between the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute and the Botswana University of Agriculture and Natural Resources to enhance educational and exchanges and joint research in agriculture and marine science has also been signed, as well as scholarships secured for Bahamian students. From Botswana, while at the airport waiting for Prime Minister Davis to arrive, Minister of Education Glenys Hannah Martin shared more on what the Davis administration looks to accomplish while in Botswana.
Well, we're looking at a number of shared interests, including education, which is my portfolio. We'll be looking at tourism, we'll be looking at energy, and the economic development, and a whole array of areas. It's also critical that these partners, the Bahamas and this country, that we embrace. Yet again, I'm told that there were 2 state visits previously. This is our first year to the Bahamas, from the Bahamas, and so we believe that the engendering of relationships is very important, particularly when you look at the dynamics globally, that partnerships and friendships are embraced all over the world, and of course Botswana is one of those critical partners for the Bahamas.
In the area of economic cooperation, there is a proposed memorandum of understanding between the Central Bank of the Bahamas and the Bank of Botswana. This partnership will facilitate the exchange of expertise and technology in the area of central bank digital currency. Asked by members of the Botswana media if he was pleased with the rate of progress with some of the bilateral agreements reached last September back here in the Bahamas, Prime Minister Davis had this to say.
I think, to put in perspective some of the questions which seem to be rooted in the progress that has been made since the visit of Dr. Masisi to the Bahamas, let us not forget it was but a mere 6 months ago. And suffice it to say that I am satisfied with the progress that we have made to date on all those affairs. And I think the President is likewise satisfied. The collaboration has continued, and meaningful progress has been made.
Prime Minister Davis also spoke about progress being made in the area of financial services as he encourages African nations to work with small island developing states in the global south to reject the black and gray financial listings by the European Union and countries of the global north.
There's a question of joint challenges. What is the commonality between the 2 nations? But first of all, we are considered to be part of the global south. And in today's global world, this distinction is becoming sharper and sharper. And one thing that the global south cannot escape is that they cannot go it alone. We have to collaborate, we have to be in partnership. Otherwise, the global north will continue to exploit, dominate, and to keep us on our knees. And or put another way, as I was telling the President earlier, they'll continue to keep their knees on our neck. And so it is important that you appreciate the collaboration here.
Among some of the other agreements between the Bahamas and Botswana is Grand Bahama possibly becoming the base for a diamond depository. The idea being explored is to use Grand Bahama as a strategic partner to facilitate Botswana's diamond exports to the United States. The Unregulated Communities Action Task Force from the Ministry of Works is currently on the island of Eleuthera this week for Phase 2 of their assessments of unregulated communities. On Monday, owners of 165 unregulated structures in 3 communities on Eleuthera were issued eviction notices, according to Building Control Officer Craig Delancey. Mr. Delancey revealed that 2 of the shanty towns were on Spanish Wells and the other was in an area called Blackwood near the northern tip of Eleuthera. However, there was no mention of Harbor Island, where there have been many complaints about illegal migration and those numbers of illegal migrants exploding on that tiny island. Mr. Delancey said the task force will continue surveying all of Eleuthera this week with the aim of identifying unregulated structures, some of them hidden deep into bushes. The exercise on Eleuthera follows the demolition exercises on Abaco that saw approximately 300 makeshift dwellings destroyed. That was at the end of February. The task force also has plans to address shanty towns on Grand Bahama as well as Andros. Also from Eleuthera, for a while, Bahamians have been voicing their opinions on government contracts being awarded to large non-Bahamian businesses, with much of the money or the funds spent on those contracts ending up out of the country. Well, on Friday at the Chamber of Commerce on Eleuthera, Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs Clay Sweeting says that is a misconception, and he assured the public that businesses assisting with the roadworks on Eleuthera, many of them Bahamian owned.
Since becoming a cabinet minister, so back to 2021, we began, as you heard before, with negotiations with Bahamas Striping to establish this private-public partnership. And there's been some misconceptions about how this works, and I think Dominic spoke briefly about it. However, having successfully executed a PPP on Exuma Bahamas Striping has indeed opened the door to these agreements and will benefit the Bahamian people. This agreement will cost over $100 million in revenue to be expended. One of the biggest negotiating points for me, and I was very, Dominic's a negotiator, but I'm one of them too, was to ensure that the contractors, and I think I spoke to this the last time I spoke at a function there, was that the local companies in Eleuthera, who are also road builders, were able to enjoy a significant portion of that $100 million spent into the economy of Eleuthera.
Executive Chairman of Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, Dominic Sturb, explains how contracts are awarded from the government.
As the Executive Chairman of Bahamas Striping, let me make it clear. Only 2 people issue contracts in our company. Myself and Atari Mitchell. Minister Clay Sweeting, they give us a list. Mr. Sturb, Mitchell, these are some people I'd like to see if you can give opportunity to. We look at them. Then I call in my teddy bear, Melanie Roach. She then call them, see their qualifications, see your business license, see your VAT register. Then you put in your quote. If your quote is the best quote of the 3 jobs, you get the job.
Mr. Sturb says they are assisting other Bahamian-owned businesses by including them in this major roadworks project. And finally, in this segment, Police Commissioner Clayton Fernando has announced that his 2024 policing plan will be released in the coming weeks. The policing plan is slated to detail the Royal Bahamas Police Force's priorities, as well as reveal the Commissioner's plan to tackle the increase in violent crimes. Today, Commissioner Fernando revealed some of the areas of focus and interest for 2024.
The approach to my policing plan 2024. It's a backdrop from the government approach to crime, a whole approach, the government and society approach. You will see a more preventative initiative, the clear and whole build strategy, urban renewal, which is high on the agenda, partnering with the community and protecting our youths and dismantling gang interventions.
Commissioner Fernandez shared details on the process the strategy plan must go through before it reaches Parliament and is accessible to the public.
I have since handed over my policing plan to our minister, Mr. Wayne Monroe, which was delivered to his office yesterday afternoon for viewing and to be tabled in Parliament for approval.
According to Commissioner Fernanda, the policing plan will also include and highlight the technology that police are currently using to assist in the fight against crime. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.